Whether you like it or not, music affects your brain. And it took me years to actually truly understand this. Before I've heard people say about the frequencies of music affecting your brain, and I never really understood it. Most people don't, I'm pretty sure no one listens to music just to understand the frequencies or anything like that. They just listen to music just because it sounds nice. And this is the problem with society nowadays, where everything that is glamorized and glorified usually just looks the part and it all looks nice. But when you look behind it and you look into the deep meanings of whatever this is, you realize that there's a lot of bad effects of it, and there's a lot of things that can affect you as a person, which will deteriorate yourself, your characteristics, your capabilities over time. And let me explain what I'm talking about. Music is obviously frequency, and if you've ever heard about this analogy, and I've seen memes of it before, that people joke about when they're trying to park or when they're trying to do something which requires concentration whilst they're driving, and they turn down the music that's playing in the car. Why do you think that is? So if you got to turn down music to be able to concentrate better, that says a lot about dangerous driving. That says a lot about how music affects the way you can think and whether it allows you to concentrate or not. And people don't actually ponder upon this. People don't truly think about what they're doing. It's one thing to listen to music and accept that it's wrong and it's a sin that, that you're trying to change and you're trying to reduce over as days go by. And it's another thing to listen to music and try to justify it and say that it's okay because it makes you feel good, gives you dopamine. There's a lot of things in life that gives you dopamine, doesn't mean that it's good for you. For example, alcohol, it might give you dopamine for a bit, and then afterwards you feel hungover and it affects your body, affects your health. There's so many things, and this is like something I would tell a kid, but nowadays it's like society and most grown-ups truly don't actually know what they're doing. And this is why the world's lost. People listen to music whilst they're in the gym, but now I'm thinking, if you need music to work out in the gym, first of all, it's taking away your concentration and you're just there just to vibe whilst you're working out and it makes you feel good. But how heavy can you lift, or how well can you do in the gym without music? Do you know what I mean? If you're in a fight and you need to defend yourself and you obviously need to, pump yourself up, what are you going to tell the guy that you're fighting? Oh, hold on, let me just listen to some music for a minute just so I can pump myself up before I fight you. It doesn't work like that in real life, and people are treating the gym, for example, with like something that is just recreational, and and to be fair, whatever reason you do gym, fair enough. It's all up to you, but all I'm saying is you're not actually truly getting the benefit of anything, of your driving, of your gym workouts, if you're just putting music in the background. And music is everywhere. If you're in a shop, there's music. I've made a video on this before, and I keep saying this, like, music affects you in so many different ways. It affects your concentration, it affects your literacy. I feel like if you listen to the lyrics in a lot of music nowadays, it's just got a bunch of things that have no benefit to you or your life, but it's just made to sound good. It affects the way you speak, it affects how well spoken you are over time. And people, I genuinely don't understand why people don't think about this. For all the Muslims watching, imagine listening to music for about 30 minutes and then as soon as Salah time hits, you gotta pray. Do you truly think you're gonna be able to concentrate? Do you truly think that, after listening to music for like half an hour to an hour, that the next minute you have to shut it all off and, pray? How able are you to concentrate on your prayer and having that mind-faith connection compared to not listening to music at all during the whole day? And when it comes to prayer, you pray and you feel a lot more at ease and you feel calm and level-headed. I've outlined that music is frequency, so it's this, literally. Just to very simply put, there's music to make you happy, there's music to make you pumped up, there's music to make you angry, there's music to make you sad, make you cry. And if this is what it's doing to your emotions, right, and you're supposed to stay level-headed, you're supposed to stay calm and collected, but it's making you do this, don't blame anything but yourself. If you're more prone to being angry, or if you're more prone to being excited and then losing your temper, losing your cool, getting overexcited, crying the next minute, don't blame anyone but yourself. Don't blame, oh, I've got ADHD. Don't blame, I've got a personality disorder. All these things are just made up and they're all BS. The problem is you. The problem is what you do. Most of you would laugh if someone came up to you and said that they're fat not because of what they eat, but just because of the circumstances they've been put in, or they start blaming this, they start blaming that, but they won't blame themselves. You would say, no, it's definitely because of what you eat, it's definitely because of your diet, there's something wrong, right? So a lot of you who are worrying about, oh, I have difficulties concentrating whilst praying, or I can't do this right, or when it comes to studying, or when it comes to focusing on something for an hour, even just an hour, I can't do it. This is the problem. Like, this is exactly the problem. What are you doing? What are you listening to? What are you putting into your ears? You're not listening to podcasts, you're listening to music, and not just one song. You're not even trying to improve yourself and reduce the volume of music. What you're doing is just adding more and more music. You wake up and you listen to music. You're going outside, you don't even know what fresh air sounds like anymore. You just put the headphones on and listen to music. You don't have conversations anymore, you're listening to music. So there's a few factors that come into mind that affects your brain. I believe that affects your brain. What music you're listening to, how often you're listening to music, when you're listening to music, and why you're listening to music. So let me explain. When I say what music you're listening to, I mean what kind of genre. If it's a genre which is like R&B or something, I don't know, it's like sad music. If you're sad, if you see yourself feeling sad all the time, that's why. If you feel like you're depressed, that's why. That's one of the main reasons why. If you're listening to music that makes you angry, makes you pumped up, a lot of like hard, like funk music and Brazilian funk and stuff like that, and you feel yourself getting angry all the time, or you feel yourself losing your temper a lot more often than not, there's only one thing to blame. There might be a lot of things to blame, but that's one of them. Now, about how often you're listening to music, if you're listening to music all day, all night, all the time, whilst you're in the shower, you've got in the background, whilst you're studying, you've got in your headphones, whilst you're walking, if you've got it in your headphones, whilst you're trying to sleep, you're listening to music. I mean, music has taken over your life. You're a slave to music. That is literally just to simply put. And this is a message that needs to be put out there for everyone, because we all think that we're living a life where we're improving ourselves, and we talk about self-improvement, but a lot of it's also just glorified and just made to look nice. You'll have a TikTok that talks about self-improvement, but they've got music in the background. The music plays a big part in how you perceive the TikTok. Let me explain that again. Let me state that again. The music that's being played in the TikTok has a big part on how you perceive the TikTok. I actually think that the music plays a bigger part than what you're seeing on the TikTok. So, if you watch a TikTok and you feel like crying and there's sad music in the background, that's a huge factor. That is a huge factor. People are now just being moved by music wherever it takes them. They're like a feather in the wind. If the next TikTok they scroll on, there's angry music going on, I don't know, something like just drill or whatever, they're going to start feeling angry, they're going to start feeling pumped up. Then the next TikTok, which is all sad and all, like moody, then they start feeling sad again. They start, feeling like all mellow and too mellow. Do you get what I mean? So these are things that I think about. These are things that I observe when I'm just living life, really. And it's crazy. And the last one, obviously, like I said, was, when do you listen to music? As soon as you wake up, the last thing you should be doing is putting all that filth in your ear. You've literally had about 6 to 8 hours of sleep, of nothing, hearing nothing, right? And then you wake up and you program your brain to crave music. And then after you start your morning with the music, and then best be sure that you're going to be craving it during the afternoon, whilst you're studying, whilst you're working. I mean, when do you put a limit to yourself? There's a time limit on your phones to tell you that you should put your phone away after this time, or you should stop using this app after using it for this long. But when do you put the same limits onto yourself? We're not living the same life as the generations before us, when everything was a lot more organic. Everything nowadays, everything is processed. Everything is just all corrupt. It's just going worse and worse and worse and worse. And I know for sure that the frequencies of music is going to get even higher. The demand for like edgy music, for music with extra bass, with extra reverb and all this stuff, that's going to completely destroy your ears. It's gonna, go off the charts, and it's gonna keep going worse and worse and worse. My personal way of treating this issue would be to reduce the amount of music you listen to in a week. So what I mean is, if you're somebody who listens to music 7 days a week, and let's say you only listen to it for about an hour a day, which is about 7 hours in a week. If you train yourself, if you tell yourself you're gonna take 1 day where you don't listen to any music at all for the first week, so now you're listening to 6 hours in the next week, and then the week after you take another day. So let's say you don't listen to music on a Friday, and then you make sure you don't listen to music on a Saturday. So then now you've got 5 hours of music that you're allowing yourself to listen to for the next week, and then slowly you reduce the volume bit by bit. And this is a good way to actually have less craving of music, because it is obviously a distraction, and it is like almost like a drug nowadays. People crave this so much that they can't work out. They would not go to the gym if they can't find their AirPods, or they would not go for a walk if they can't find their AirPods, or they can't study well. And apparently music helps you to study. That's all BS. That is all crap. That is no way. It's the opposite. It actually affects the way you study. It wouldn't let you concentrate as much. I don't care what any background music you suggest. I don't care what genre. I don't care what you've got to say about this. Music does not help you. It might give you the benefit of dopamine, but that is temporary dopamine. And temporary dopamine is not good for you always. So yeah, that's my rant done. I hope you guys truly understand and do your own research on music. This is just a reminder to not listen to music as much. There's a clear reason why it is haram. I don't want to hear anyone saying, oh, it's not haram because it's not stated in the Quran. Please just shut up. I'm not gonna explain myself to you. Always remember that this is not me saying that I'm perfect and I'm better than you guys, or you guys are better than me. This is simply just to put, if you are in the sin of listening to music, that is one thing. I always say this to anyone. If you're in the sin of listening to music, that's one thing, and you accept that it's haram, you accept that it's wrong. But it's another thing to do the sin, and just because you're in that sin, that you have this pride and you have this ego, and you try to justify that it's okay because it makes you do this and it makes you feel happy and stuff. No, you can't do a sin and then justify it. You have to accept that you're doing something haram to yourself. You shouldn't be exposing your sins anyways, but you should accept the fact that you're in the sin, and you should repent as much as you can. You should pray for Allah to guide you away from the sin and to guide you back onto the straight path, and just keep repenting every single time you're in the sin, and accept that it is bad, accept and make sure you hate it as much as you can, and slowly your heart will detach away from the sin and closer to good things like listening to the Quran, reading the Quran. There's so many more benefits in this world, and that's what I want to do. I literally just want to give the beneficial knowledge out there. There's a Quran verse that encourages people to speak the truth and not conceal it whilst they know it. I'll probably put it on the screen. And yeah, that's literally just about it for the video. I'm done ranting for now, and I'll catch you in the next video. Make sure you like and subscribe, comment down your thoughts on what I've said, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.